So welcome to the software development training at Tech 365. So we'll be starting with overview of how different career comes together. They will now break down what software development is, what are the things to expect, what are the tools we are going to be using, and if you have questions, you ask. Is that okay? All right. So when you want to build a software, or when you want to build an application, there are different career that comes together to build the application. So let's say you want to build either e-commerce platform, accounting software, or whatever it is. So there are different people that comes together. So I'm sharing this with us so that you understand how everybody fits in. Is that okay? Or if you find yourself in an organization where you need to work with all these people, you'll be able to understand what they do. So the first career person or the first person on board is the product owner. Product owner. Now, product owner is not the owner of the company. It is somebody that is hired to plan about a particular product. Is that okay? So let's say you want to create something like WhatsApp or whatever you want to create. So the company or the owner of the business, we hire a person called product owner. Is that clear? So what's the work of the product owner? So the product owner is engaged. And like I said, it doesn't have to be the owner of the business. So the role is called product owner. So what's the work of the product owner? The work of the product owner is to envision the product. So you want to build a social network can interact like Facebook. The product owner will now come up with the vision of that product. So the person will research, are there existing products? If yes, what are the things they don't have that can be in the one that we want to create? Or what are the things that they have that we can improve upon? You know, all of those research will be done by the product owner. So then the person understands the users of the platform, the features that will be required, and so on. So these are the work of the product owner. Is it clear? So the first person on a project is the product owner. Now, it doesn't mean that because I'm listing all these people that work on a project together, that in real world, all of them will work. It may just even be two people that will work on the product. But I'm just saying in an ideal situation, and also as a way to explain what each role is meant to do. So if somebody, you meet someone and say, I'm a product owner, you know the role of the person. Is that clear? So the goal of product owner is to carry uphold the vision of that product that you want to build, whether it is e-commerce, social network, or whatever, it doesn't matter. So after the product owner has come up with the vision of the product, has done some research about existing one, the features that the product will have, the user that will use the product, the need of the user, the expectation, and all of that. Then we can now move to the next person who will be on board, and that is the project manager. I believe the product owner is clear. So the project manager, from the word project manager, the person that manages projects. So what does the project manager do? If we come up with the scope of the project, you know, if you're building a social network, it can have millions of features, right? And you don't want to have a software that we have endless features. There has to be certain feature you want to do. Later, you can keep adding other features, right? So that's where the scope has to come in, that at the start, these are the specific features we want to have. Then later we can be adding another one. So that's work of the project manager. The person will come up with the cost. How much will it cost to build this software or this application? What are the risks that will be involved in this application? For example, if you are doing a product where you are supplying house help to houses, the risk might be, what if the house help is attacked by the person that is living in the house? Do you understand? Or whatever risk that the person might likely have. So the project manager needs to come up with all of these risks. If it is a loan application, the risk might be, what if people did not pay back the loan? So different products, we have different risks. Then also come up with the timeline. How long is it going to take for this project to be completed? Will it be 6 months? Will it be 3 months? So it is the work of the project manager to come up with that timeline. And what are the expected outcome at the end of the day? And who are the stakeholders that will be impacted by this product that we are building? Now, if I enter real estate, for example, you know, the local government chairman, the king can also influence the success of your project, right? So you have to factor those stakeholders. Stakeholders are not just customer and the staff alone. External people that they are say can impact your project. Also, they are also stakeholders. Government can make a policy that can affect your business, right? Like there was a time, Go-Kada, they banned Okada, you know, on the highway, and their business were affected. So at the point of view planning or coming up with the team, you have to factor in who are the stakeholders that can directly or indirectly affect the success of this project. So you know the work of product owner and the project manager. Then the next person that can that will be on board will be the UI UX designer. So the UI UX designer is now the one who will now translate the vision that the product owner has into something that is visual, that people can see. If they are building houses, you normally see the picture of how that house will be at the end of the day, right? So you make everybody to know that this house will be 7-story building, 8-story building, because there's a physical, visual representation of what that product will be at the end of the day. Is it clear? So the UI UX designer is the one that will now interpret that vision into something physical that people can see. So the person will design the wireframe, the prototype. So what do we mean by prototype? Is something like this. So this is what I mean by prototype. So you can see the design, right? So if I visit it. So this is what we mean by prototype. At least everybody now have an idea of how it's going to look at the end of the day. Even though it's not going to be functional, it's just like a picture. But this is the work of the UI UX designer. Is it clear? They will choose the arrangement of the design, the color, you know, how everything will be arranged and all of that. So that's the work of the UI UX design. So I don't think the web developer will be able to do everything because they all require different specialization. Except you now want to learn them after you have learned your software, you want to learn UI UX, you know, a lot and like that is possible. So that's work of the UI UX. Then after that, we now have the front end developer. So the front-end developer will now translate what the UI now have come up, the design, into something that you can code. So the front-end developer will now code it. So we will write the code. Is that okay? So the front-end developer will write the code of what the UI UX design have designed. Now, even though the front-end developer have written the code, it will still not be functional. If there's a registration form, if you fill the form, nothing will happen. Because the front-end is still like design as well. But the difference between front-end and UI is that front-end now have it as a code, while UI is then just have it as a picture. It's not the same work. Okay, I told you that when you want to build a house, there will be a picture of how that house will be at the end of the day, right? So that's like a picture. It's not real, but it gives you an idea of what needs to be done. Now, people will now follow that picture and be doing step by step or the building plan, and they will have the building at the end of the day. That one is tangible. So the work of front-end developer is tangible. You can click it, you can see it. Like the bricklayers that. So you can see the work of the front-end developer. You can click it, you can see the code. But the UI then you cannot see the code. You can only see the concept. Although there is a way you can generate code from that concept. But like I said, my goal is to differentiate the role of everybody. So there's now code generator that you have a UI UX, then you now generate the code of it. People do that. But the difference is that if you generate the code, you don't understand what the code is saying. You cannot modify the code. But if front-end person understand the code, he can modify it. So when we say AI can generate code for me, yes. But when you now need to edit the code to do something else, do you know how to what to change there? You don't, right? So that's why having that knowledge is important, even if AI can code. Because that knowledge will even make it to know what to tell AI to do. So then we'll move to the next one, which is the back end. Back end developer. So the role of back end developer is to now add functionality. To now make the software to now function is the work of the back end. So when I fill a form, I submit it to database or to email. When I register successfully. When I log in, check and say invalid username or password or login successful. When I post, it appears on my timeline. When I send WhatsApp message, the other person receive it. So those functionality are the work of back-end developer. Is it clear? Now, when you now say front-end plus back-end, that's now full stack software development, which is what we are going to be learning. Is it clear? But ideally, before you go into your front-end and back-end, the UI/UX must have given you the prototype of the design, how everything will look. But some companies don't do that. They just ask you to do everything. But ideally, they are meant to be different. So I'll still break down these two further because that's our focus. But I'm just giving you the general overview for now. They will now zoom in into those two and focus on it. Now, after we are done with this, the next person will now be the QA, quality assurance, or the pen tester, penetration tester. Okay, penetration. Or cybersecurity. Let me just call it cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. So quality assurance, cybersecurity, their goal is to test the application, that everything works fine. So quality assurance will test it, that everything works fine. When I submit, it submit. When I click, the button works. While cybersecurity, we also check for, or let me separate them. Quality assurance, test for test that it works. So it tells that everything works the way it's supposed to work, right? Its own is just to test. Why cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is to check for hacking possibility. So it's checking that, is there a way they can hack this software? If you discover any way they can hack, you report to the organization so that they can, protect against that. So it's checking for any vulnerability in the software. That's the work of cybersecurity. They may call them different names, penetration tester, whatever, but the idea is that they are under the umbrella of cybersecurity to check for hackers. Sometimes organizations will even come out and say, come and hack Facebook. If you hack it successfully, we'll pay you. They want to be sure that there's something, So when you hack successfully, they know what is wrong. They fix it so that the actual hacker will not be able to hack. But like I said, some organizations don't go through all of this, but they are important, especially if you're dealing with something that is finance related. So apart from these people, who else is needed? Then we have the AI machine learning engineer. So of course, these ones are meant to integrate AI into the application. So if the platform require features of AI, like I should be able to ask questions and the AI will be answering me, things like that, or I want to generate certain information automatically without human intervention, and I want AI to be doing that. So AI engineer or machine learning engineer need to be hired to do that. Like this loan app, they don't come and interview physically, right? You just fill your detail there and they'll tell you whether you qualify for loan or not and how much you qualify for. It is the AI inside that app that is doing all of that. It will profile that person based on your age, how, the kind of work you do, your marital status, where you live, all of that. Or most times they use your credit rating. They may not do that much in Nigeria, but abroad they do it a lot. But I don't know if the financial institution in Nigeria have access to those information. So they can use your credit rating. The higher your credit rating, the more loan they can give you. So AI engineer do all of that. Then we have the cloud engineer or cloud stroke DevOps engineer. So their own work is to deploy the app. So what do you mean of deploy? Deploy means for it to go live. So it will be moved from that laptop of the developer to a server somewhere, maybe on AWS, on Azure, or any other platform, so that people can access it anywhere in the world. That's why you can say tech365.ng and our website will come up. Facebook.com, Facebook will come up because of it's the work of all these cloud or DevOps engineers. So anytime you go to Facebook and it's not opening, you know who is responsible, right? The cloud people are the one responsible for that. So that's the work of cloud engineer. Then we now have the digital marketing. So to promote the software. So their own goal is to make people to get to know that the software exists. Because if you have the best software in the whole world and you just host it, and that's all, nobody will know. It's like this company, nobody will know that we exist, right? But one way or the other, whether somebody will find you here or you Google and you saw our website, something like that. So there has to be a way you get to know about the product. So that's the work of digital marketer. So you can see that to create a product involves a lot of people, right? Or a lot of process. So those are the things that are involved in creating an application. There may be other people like content writer who writes the content of every page, like about us, our services, contact us, because those content need to be written in a strategic way, right? In a way that anybody that is reading it will fall in love with the organization and want to patronize them. So that's the work of content writer. We also have copywriter as well, copywriter. Even though AI has made many of those things much more simplified, but it's still good that the person handling it is a professional or he has experience. So you can even use AI better than somebody that does not have experience. Because how a doctor will use AI will be different from how you use AI to treat yourself, right? Because the doctor have domain knowledge. You know how to ask the question. And based on that question, you know what to ask further. But you will just be asking general question, I'm having a headache, you'll not be able to say it in those terms, in those language that doctor will have, said it. So that's it. Any question? I will send this to the WhatsApp chat. Any question? Then you can also watch the recording later in case you want to go over it. Okay, if it is clear, then let's now proceed to web design versus software development. So mostly the work of web designer is to build websites with low code or no code. So web designer, they will build websites for you without writing code or by writing just small code. So their goal is more of designer. So they use tools like WordPress, Bubble, Wix, Shopify, and so on. So even though you are a developer, it's not wrong if you also learn how to design websites too. The reason is, if you learn how to design websites and you have a friend that wants to build a website, if you have to write code, it might take you 3 months. But with this one, in 24 hours, the website can be ready because you're not writing any code. It's just like drag and drop. Do you understand? So for cheap work, web designer, they design websites without having to write code. So it's faster. Why web developer? They will write code. Now look at it this way. It's like somebody renovating a building and another one building the building from scratch. The one renovating will be faster, especially if what you're renovating is not much. Hope you get my point. So for web designer, like this WordPress now, it has all the code, so you're not writing the code. Everything is already in the WordPress. Your own is just, this is the website ready made for me. If it's an e-commerce like Jumia, everything will look like Jumia already. You'll just be removing the product and be putting your own products. Removing the logo and put your company logo. Remove about us information and put your own information. So that's why I say you're not writing any code. So this one is also have its own place. You can also be using this one to build for people that are not paying you much, compared to you having to be writing the code from beginning to the end. Copyright. Like cloning. Something like clone, but the clone here is legal. Like you can either buy the clone one. Those people that are selling it to you, they built it for this purpose. You know, there are people that also want to build from by themselves. They already build it for you, but the content they'll put there will not be your own content. So you just change the content to your own. So that's the way it works. And if you don't want to buy, you can still design it yourself without any code. So that's not the focus of this training. If you're interested, you can either get our recorded paid course for this, or you can go for the normal class like this class. I'm only telling you all of these things just to have an idea. Is that okay? So that if you meet people and they say, I don't write code and I can build website that you can build, you know what they are trying to say. Hope you get the point. Or if they are pricing you too cheap, you know that it is this kind of people that they're supposed to pay that kind of amount. Hope you get my point. So let's now move to our own, which is software development. So this is the focus of this training, software development. So number one, as a software developer, you need to plan. So planning. So one of your job as a software developer is planning. So what do I mean by planning? You need to know what's the purpose of this software you are trying to build, right? If you want to build a house, you need to know what's the purpose of that house. Is it for commercial? Is it for residential? And all of that, right? So the way when anybody comes to you, I want to build a software, or they hire you as a software developer, and it's okay, we have a project. What's the first thing you are supposed to find out? What is the purpose of this software we are trying to build? Is it a platform that will just talk about our company? Or is it a platform where we are going to be putting content for people to read? Or is it a platform where people can interact with each other, chat with each other like Facebook? Or is it a platform where people can buy products and make payments like e-commerce? So you need to know what the purpose of this platform, right? After you have known the purpose, the next one will be what will be the features? What are the features it's going to have? Will you have registration and login? Will you have payment? Will you have ability to chat? Will you have ability to fill a form and register or apply for a job? All of that need to be stated out. Do you understand? Because if you don't state all of these things, tomorrow they can say, add this one, add that one. You keep adding forever. But if there's a scope, by the time you add, and it's okay, add this additional one, then you can now charge extra for that one because it's not part of what was agreed. That if you're dealing with somebody directly. But if it's a company, they can keep adding forever because you're working with them full time. But you get the idea, right? And also, there may be some feature that they will not even say you should put. You might also plan for it. That in case tomorrow they want to add it, I've already made room for it. So it will be that, you should have told me at the beginning, I cannot add that one again. It shouldn't be like that. And that's why the programming language that we're going to be using, we allow you to add as many as you want later without any problem. So you need to understand the purpose and the features. Is it clear to this point? All right. So after I've understood the purpose and the features, then you can have the layout. Layout is now how everything will be arranged, which is the work of the UI UX. But in case you don't have one on your own, you have to put paper and say, okay, this one will be here, this one will be here, this one will be here. Is it clear? Then from here, we now move to the front end, which is now translating that layout into code, right? Now for this front end, you already know what this does. The focus is the interface. What people can see, the design. So the design or the interface is the work of the front end. So when you go to Facebook, what you are seeing, all those design, that's the front end, right? And for this front end, you need to know HTML. So HTML is what you're going to use to write the code of that design into something that can be functioning. Is that okay? HTML. But when you write that HTML, it will be ugly. Look at this design, what I'm typing now. Is it not ugly? Does it look beautiful like Facebook? No. So HTML will look ugly like what you are seeing on the page. Then you can now add CSS. So CSS is for styling. We'll go into all of these things step by step and just give you a general idea first. Is that okay? HTML is more like the foundation. So when you want to build a house, you have to lay the foundation where the restroom will be, where the room will be, where the parlor will be, where the kitchen will be. The land will be divided into different parts, right? So that's HTML. And that foundation, does it look beautiful? No. But when you now build it, you now paint it and all of that, that's the work of CSS. So it is CSS that has the beauty, the painting and all of that. Is it clear now? So that's why I call it styling. You style it. So styling and beauty. Is it clear so far? Yeah. All right. Now, we now have what we call framework. So which is Tailwind. So framework or library. So what's the meaning of this? Now, the CSS, you are writing the code from beginning to the end. But whenever you are using framework, it means you are not writing all the code from scratch. You are still writing code, but not all from scratch. Let me give an example. Imagine you want to write something now, and there are a lot of books that you can reference. That will save you time. But if there's no book, you have to be the one to go and research all of them one by one. So that's the difference. So it means in Tailwind, they have written all the code for you somewhere. So whatever I need, I'll just pick it, I put it, pick it and put it. But you are still writing code. It's not like the web design where you are doing drag and drop without writing any code. It's just that your code will now be either smaller or faster. Hope that makes sense. As we go into the practical part, it will be clearer, but this is just to give you an idea. Then when you are done with this, the next one will be JavaScript. So I'm telling you what you are going to learn now. You learn HTML for the front end, you will learn CSS, you will learn Tailwind, you will learn JavaScript. So what's the work of JavaScript? That is for interaction or interactivity. When you go to a website, sometimes something can pop up and say promo or subscribe to our email or we have relocated our address. Any pop-up that you see, that's JavaScript. Or there may be a pop-up that chat with us, that's JavaScript. Or we fill a form, something will pop up and say your form has been submitted successfully, that's JavaScript. So, or when you click a button, something appears, that's JavaScript. Do you understand? So all those things are there. Or if you go to e-commerce and you say add to cart, you go and add it to cart for you and say in your cart, 1. When you add down to cart, your cart becomes 2, JavaScript. Or you click a menu, the menu will come out. You click it again, it goes away, JavaScript. So think of anytime I want something to be interacting like dynamic, then use JavaScript. Though CSS can do some interaction, but not be as powerful as JavaScript. Is it clear? Then the last part is React, which is JavaScript library. Either I call it library or framework. So you should know what this is meant to do, right? So it means instead of me writing all the JavaScript from scratch, the React, I've written the code for me. So my own code will not be smaller, but it does not mean you will not still write code. It's just that it might not be as complex as if you're writing everything by yourself. So these are the things you need to know. If you know this, you can call yourself a front-end developer anywhere in the world. Then you can just add maybe version control. So this one is for code updates and collaboration. So in a company, all your developers might not be in the same place. Some might be in Nigeria, some might be in US, some might be in UK, and they can still be working together. So any code you write, you push it somewhere. Day to day, will push their own there. Then you, if you want to see what they have done, you put their own. Day to day, will put your own. So that's what we call collaboration. So you use version control to do all of that. So these are the things you need to know. Now, let me just stress that this React that we are learning is not only React that can do it. Vue.js can do the same thing. Angular can do the same thing. But the reason why we are going for React is because it's the most popular among them. So if 10 companies want to hire and 8 expect you to know React, but the other 2 expect either Angular or Vue.js, which one do you think is better to learn? The one that more people will be interested in, isn't it? And they do the same thing. So it's not like the other one are better than this one. So meaning that everything that Vue and Angular can do, React can do it too. It's just that how they do it might be a little bit different, but they do the same thing. And if you know React, you can use that your knowledge to learn the other one if you want to. Hope that makes sense.
So React is a generic code or
is a
React generic code?
No. React already have code inside it. When you download it, the code is already inside. The one you need, because you know what you need, you'll be bringing them out. But CSS, there's no installation, there's no code anywhere. You're not writing everything from scratch. Hope that makes sense. All right. Then the same thing with Tailwind. Even though we are going with Tailwind, it's not only Tailwind that can do that. Bootstrap can also do it. Material UI can also do it. And we have several other examples. But we go with Tailwind because 1 is the one that is trending now, meaning if you want to know which one is in vogue, it is Tailwind CSS. 2, Tailwind CSS is also more flexible than Bootstrap. So Bootstrap, you still have to be writing CSS, but Tailwind, all the CSS is already there for you. So that's why we're going with that one. But this HTML and CSS, they don't really have alternative. JavaScript for now don't have alternative. But this Tailwind have alternative. They are more than these 2. I don't want to bore you with too much names. Then React, these 2 are the most popular, even though there are other ones, like Servlet. So there are several other ones, but I don't want to bore you with their names. So okay, the spelling is SV. So this is the spelling. So there are several other ones, like I said. So if you know this, you can work as a front-end developer anywhere in the world. Is that okay? So that's one career on its own. Then we can now move to the next one, which is the backend. So most times the backend creates what we call API. So all those functionality that the backend will create, they can put it in form of API. So the front end will now be connected to that API and make it work. So example, how to log in, backend will have created it and expose it as an API for the front end person. So that front end person now create a login form. It will now connect it to that API so that when they fill it, it will work. So that making it work is the work of backend. But you now making appear to the people is the work of the front end, right? So you connect the two together. So as a full stack person, you can do both, but if you're a back end alone, you just do your API, the front end, we connect to API with the design they have done, and everything will work together. Is it clear?
So the back end is like supplying what goes to the front end.
Yes. The back end is one that do the functionality, as making it function.
So nothing was wrong with the back end.
Of course, if you're wrong, if anything is wrong with the back end, it will not work now. If you go to a restaurant, there's a place where they cook in the kitchen, and there's is this how they call them? The waiter, you know, the waiter is the front end. The person supplying the food to the waiter is the back end. So the waiter dress the food, look good, look nice, right? But the back end where they do the cooking is dirty, right? But you understand what I mean by dirty, meaning you see pepper, all of those things. But the front end presents it in a very nice user interface to you. And if the back end have issue, you cannot, whatever you order will not be available. But the waiter will still be there. You still see the waiter looking nice and everything. So I hope that is clear. Okay. So you need to know how to create API as a backend person. So the backend use different languages. Application programming interface. Since we are still going to get to the practical part, that's why I'm holding on with that one. So the backend, you need to learn the language. In front end, the language here is JavaScript. So for backend, the language we are going to be learning is Python. So the program we're going to be learning is Python. Why Python? Because it is easy. Python is easy to learn by even a novice, a beginner. Python is flexible. It means when you know Python, if tomorrow you want to move to cybersecurity, you can use Python. You want to move to DevOps, you can use Python. You want to move to AI, you can use Python. You want to move to creating robots, you can use Python. You want to create Internet of Things that you will talk and your house will be responding to what you are saying, you can use Python. You want to create embedded system inside car or watch or whatever, you can use Python. So you can see, you can do a lot of things apart from even software development. Do you understand? So that's why we are going with it. Is that okay? So everybody's saying AI, AI. Python is one of the language that power AI. So when you know Python, even that future where they are saying things will change, you too, you are ready for them. Because the Python they are using, you are learning it. The only difference is that when we learn the Python, we'll stop at the software point, we'll not go into the AI point. I don't know if I'm getting my point. So if you now want to go into AI, it's just a matter of learning the remaining parts. Hope you get my point. If you now want to go to cybersecurity to learn the remaining parts, you want to go into DevOps, you learn the remaining part. Because when we learn Python, the remaining part we learn will be the software part, not the AI part or the DevOps part. I hope you get my point. But with what we're going to learn, you can still work with AI, but as an API, not you creating the AI yourself. Hope you are getting my point. Like ChatGPT now is an already made AI. You can put ChatGPT into your own code as a developer, but you creating your own ChatGPT will not go into that one. So that's for the Python. And it is a simpler syntax. So when I say simpler syntax, if I want to say 2 plus 2 in Python, you just say print 2 plus 2. But if I want to say 2 plus 2 in Java, I will say class hello world, curly brackets. Then I'll now say static main void string adds system dots right line out, then 2 plus 2. Life is not hard now. And you know what? That 2 plus 2 will not be more better than 2 plus 2 of Python. But see how many things I mentioned just to say 2 plus 2. Imagine I want to write Facebook with that kind of language. For Python, 2 plus 2, and you show you 4. Very straightforward. So those are the reasons why we're picking Python. Hope it's clear now. So then when you are done with Python, you now move to Django. So what's the work of Django? Django is a framework for Python. So when I say framework for Python, you know what I mean by now. It means there are a lot of code in that Django. Whatever I need, I'll just bring it out and use it. I don't have to write all the code myself. Is that okay? So for the sake of knowledge, if you don't want to learn Python, other things you can learn is PHP. Is that okay? And instead of Django for PHP, you will learn Laravel. So this is the alternative for Python. Just like Python is a language for backend, PHP is also a language for backend. But why I will not go with PHP is because, like I told you, Python is more flexible. It's good for AI, machine learning, all of those things. PHP is not really strong in that one. PHP just for web development. Hope you get my point. That's the strength of PHP. Then instead of Django, if you are going for PHP, you will do Laravel instead. Is that okay? Then another alternative would be JavaScript, which is the one we are using for front end, right? You can use it for backend too. When you write it in Node.js, then the framework will be Express. So when I say Laravel, Laravel is not the only framework for PHP. The same way, Django is not the only framework for Python. There are other several frameworks, but Django is the most flexible, most robust, and most popular among them. That's why we're going for it. Hope you get my point. Meaning that some people say, I'm a Python developer and I don't use Django, I use Flask. So don't be saying, no, it's only Django you can use. Hope you get my point now. But that your own Django is more superior than their own Flask. So some people will say, as a beginner, go and learn Flask. It's easier to learn. But Django can build any type of software. Even Instagram, they were built with something like Django. Udemy, they were built with something like Django. YouTube, all those kind of applications. So why not learn the one that is very robust, that can build almost anything you want? Do you understand my point? Instead of you going for the one that is easier. Hope you get my point. So that's why we go with Django instead of Flask, because Django is more robust than Flask. Okay, so then another option, if you don't go with PHP and Laravel or Node.js and Express, you can go with Java and Spring. So Java is another backend language that you can use. Then the framework for Java is Spring or Spring Boot. Now this Java is the one I mentioned, that system.out.writeline when you're saying 2 plus 2. This one is for enterprise application. Companies that use Java are companies like bank. As in enterprise, companies that are doing something at a large scale, they are the ones that use Java. For beginner, I don't recommend Java. Like I said, because the syntax is a bit complex. So if you know Python, you can do almost everything that Java can do. But if you now want to learn Java, because you now have one language already, it's easier to learn another language. It's like you know English. If you now want to learn another language, it will be much more easier. I don't know if you get my point. Because what are the things you need to learn in English? You need to learn alphabet first, A to Z, right? You need to learn the numbers, 1, 2, 3. You need to learn how to form word. Come, go, sit, stand. You need to learn how to form phrase, sentences. If you're learning another language like French, that's what you're going to learn too. You learn the alphabet first, their number first, then how to form words in French, then how to form phrase and sentence in French, then how to write it, how to read it, how to understand it. So the same thing. So for beginner, learning Java can be overwhelming. Then another one is a C sharp. C sharp and .NET. So C sharp and .NET, they are for enterprise application too, just like Java. So C sharp and .NET, they are owned by Microsoft. So if you are working with a company that they use things of Microsoft, almost everything they do is Microsoft, then C sharp and .NET will be good for that kind of organization. So it's also for enterprise like banks and the likes as well. So there are other ones that like Go. So there's Go and but these are the most popular languages that people use. So these are the things you need to know for backend. You need to know a language like Python. You need to know the framework like Django or Flask, right? Then you need to know the third one now. Those are alternatives, right? Alternatives to Python and Django. So you need to know database. So database is where you store information. Is that okay? So example, you can know MySQL, PostgreSQL, or MongoDB, or GraphQL. And so on. There are so many of them. But the most popular one among them is MySQL. So if you know MySQL, these Postgres work in a similar way. And they work in form of, they look like in form of Excel sheets, like a table, rows and columns. But if you don't want your data to be in row and column, then you can go with this one, MongoDB or GraphQL. So you can go with MongoDB if you don't want, a tabular format. Then you need to now also learn deployment. Deployment is now you making it to go live so that you can access it on the internet. But at this level, the deployment knowledge you will learn will be very basic. So if you want something deeper or elaborate, then that's where DevOps or cloud computing, that's where they come in. Because that's like a career on its own. But your own is just, I built it on my system, I can push it, it can go like, you can access it anywhere in the world. So that's just what you're going to learn. You will not learn things like load balancing, auto scaling, automation, infrastructure as code, CI/CD. You will not learn all of that under here. That one is under cloud computing and DevOps. Since that's not your primary responsibility, so you just do this. When you are done, then the DevOps people, they will take it up from there, or the cloud engineer. So these are the things you need to know. So cover front end, all of these things I've mentioned here. Under back end, we cover this, we cover this, we cover this. Then we'll put it online for people to access it anywhere in the world. Any question? Not now. Any question? All right. So you have an idea of what we're going to be learning. Okay. So with that said, let's move to the first one, which is HTML. So we are moving to practical now. But before we do practical, what is HTML? HTML means hypertext markup language. I hope you have all installed Visual Studio Code. I sent it to you in the chat. Okay, I don't want doing cybersecurity. So I've dropped the link now. Click that link in the chat. You take to a website, click download and install it. That's all. So when you talk about software, we have three platforms. We have the web, we have the desktop, and we have the app, mobile. So when you're building software, you can either focus on web or desktop application or mobile application. So for web, the likes of even Microsoft Word, you can access it on the web, right? So these are our own focus for this training. Whatever we're building will be web-based. Then for desktop, you should know desktop application, those ones that you normally double click, next, like you're trying to do for this VS Code. So that's for desktop. Then mobile are the one you go to your Play Store to download on your mobile phone and all of that. So this mobile is not our focus. We have a mobile app training on its own that focus on how to build mobile app using Dart and Flutter or React Native. So that's not the purpose of this class. Now, this desktop, more organizations are moving to web because desktop, if you install it on this laptop now, and I know with your laptop, you cannot access the information there if you're at work. But if it is web, whether you're at work or at home, you still go to the website and you can access the software anywhere in the world. So web is gaining more traction, just like mobile too is gaining more traction. So that anywhere you are on your mobile, you can just install and access it. So for desktop application, you can use tools like C#. So you can use tools like C# if your goal is to build a desktop application. Python too can build desktop application, but our focus is not on desktop. Do you understand? So if you know Python very well, which is the web, you can still build something like VS Code and all of that on the web, not on the mobile. Or you can just research on how you can use the knowledge of Python for mobile and for desktop. So you have to learn something like PyQt. PyQt. So this is Python's framework for building desktop application, or Tkinter. So if you research about PyQt, there are a lot of tutorial on it. Since you have the background of how Python work, if you want to proceed in that, you can go ahead. But if what you want is solely on desktop, that is not the goal of this training. So I can just add that here. I think that keep my mind. Mobile app. So this is now mobile interface for the app. So the same way front end create a web interface, mobile app people they create mobile interface. So instead of designing for the web, they are designing it for the app. The concepts are similar, but the language used are different, except you want to use React. So if you're using React to build mobile app, we call it React Native. So React and React Native, they are similar, but there are some differences. As I said, React is like 80% of React Native. So you still need to know the 20% of how to make it work on mobile. And when you build React Native, you can work on Android and iOS. So have you started downloading it? So when you have mastered software development and you're interested in mobile app, you can proceed into mobile app. If you're interested in desktop, you can proceed into that. But our focus is web. So with web, you can access your software anywhere in the world. You don't have to build your laptop physically. And for those that are interested in building game, you can use software like Unity. So Unity helps you to build game. All these games that you'll be shooting people. So you can use Unity to do something like that. When you are coming here, did you say you want to come and be building game? You are not focusing on game. And all of these things require time. The way you are learning this one for 4 months, that's why you have to also dedicate time. So it's not like it's only you can learn. So it require a lot of effort to master them. But the one we are going to learn, we give you the foundation to be able to build different type of software. But if you now want to move into gaming and all of that, you just add those additional ones I've been talking about. Like if you want to go into mobile, you add Flutter or React Native. If you want to go into game, you add Unity. If you want to go into desktop, you add PyQt or C#. Do you understand? You know, you have already learned Python, which is the core. So you now have to learn those packages that are example. It depends on the kind of robotics you want to do, but it's like all these car robots and all of that. So you can use Arduino. Arduino are those hardware that you couple together. Then you now use your Python to be controlling them, so that you will not be moving hands and pick up something. You know. Or on your own, just Google all of these things. From what you are going to understand, you know how to go about them. Or you can just watch YouTube video on them. Now, HTML means hypertext markup language. So what does this mean? When you say hyper means link. Hyper, when you can link something, you can link to something. Is that okay? Eh? Link to link. Okay, for example, if you see something like click here, when you click, you will link it to somewhere. So that's what hyper stands for, right? Then text, you should know what text means, right? Content, right? Markup. Markup is like to format something. When you go to your Microsoft Word, you can bold, underline, italize, all of that, right? That's an example of markup. We do it like this. So if I want to say Wale, and I want my Wale to be bold, in front of it, I can put something like this, B. Then at the back of it, I can put something like this, B. This is an example of markup. It means you format how you want that Wale to be displayed. Is that okay? Then language, you should know what language means, right? A way of communicating. So HTML means text that can link somewhere and can be formatted in a particular way. Is it clear? HTML. The text you write that can be formatted in a particular way. You can decide how they will be formatted, whether they should be bold, underline, all of that. And they can also be linked like to other pages. Okay, so when you install your VS Code, it should look like this. Is this what you have? So if this is what you have, then you go to File. Are you in File? So every time you want to work on a project, always create different folder for them. Is that okay? If I'm building my own software now, I'll call it Wale. If I'm building for my company, I'll call that one, that folder Tech365. To avoid confusion, don't use one folder for everything. So it might be confusing. So I'm creating my folder now. I'll go to File. I'll go to Open Folder. Open Folder. So that will open my system like this. So you go to where you want. In my own case, I will go to desktop. Your own can be your documents or wherever you want. Is that okay? So I'll do mine in desktop, and I can create a new folder by clicking here, or I can right click on this empty space and say new folder. Either way. Should I wait or I can move on? So I'll click on the folder. So I'll call the name HTML class. The name doesn't matter. I can call it any name you want. Are we good? Then you click on select folder. Then it will bring the folder inside here. Then I'll click I trust this folder and say, yes, I trust the author. So that your folder will now appear. Is it clear? Can I move on? So this one is your welcome page. You can close it by pressing this X. Can you see it? So press the X, it will go away. Why don't I click on them? Okay, let me understand your question. So like choose a team, use AI features. Please, warning, don't use AI at all. It's okay. If it's because you don't know, it's fine. Don't use AI at all. You know why? You are learning a language. You should understand that language very, very well. It's when you have now understood, you cannot be using AI. Hope you get my point. Okay, like you are learning French now. You now put something in your ear that will be telling you what to tell the person. Yeah, in your mind, you're happy. And just say, bonjour, you just because something's telling you in your ear. But you will not learn that way, right? When they say bonjour, you have to ask, what do you mean by bonjour? Bonjour means good morning. Oh, okay. Bonjour means good morning. So you try to process it to understand it, right? Then next time. Then when you have now understand the basic, you cannot be using AI to improve or make your work faster. Hope you get my point. If you're using AI, you'll be faster, you'll be getting all my assignments, but you're not going to be learning well that way. Hope you get my point. Me, I can be using AI because I already know what I'm doing. But you are new, so I will not recommend AI for you. The only time you should use AI is after you have tried it on your own, try, you are not getting it. You cannot say, okay, AI, I want to do this thing. AI now tells you. So you can, oh, this is what I should have done. At least that way you are learning. As against, I give assignment, just copy assignment, give it to AI, collect the answer, give it back to me. You are not learning anything through that way, even though you get all the assignments. But that's not how to do it, right? So if I click it, don't worry, you should still be able to follow along. Okay, so I'll close this. This is what we call IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Now, what we are trying to do is we want to learn a language, the way you will learn English, French, or other language, right? Okay, record. So the way you will learn other language, so be seeing what you are doing as if you are learning English language. So it means if you want to learn English language, you have to be able to speak it, right? Say it. You have to be able to write it, right? Very well. When somebody writes it, you have to be able to read it, right? So I mentioned three things. You speak it, you write it, you read it, and you can hear it and understand when they say it. So that's the way you should try and understand what I'm teaching you. You should be able to write it very well. If I say, okay, design something like this, you should be able to write it very well, right? When somebody else design it and you are going through their code, you should be able to read and understand what they are doing. Hope you get my point. So if you can do that, it will be very, very good for you. Being able to write it and being able to read it when somebody else writes their own and understand what they have written. Because when you understand what they have written, you can even modify it to something you want. Okay, now we need to install some extension. And what's the purpose of extension? Extension means a more easier or better way of doing things. So example, whatever we are writing now, we'll be seeing it in our browser. But we don't want to be saying reload the browser every time. As we write it, new things, it should just reload and show us the new one. Is that not better? What? So that's why we're installing this extension. So you come to these extensions, click on these 4 boxes here. You need internet. Are you connected already? Life is not hard. Is the internet name. Okay, was it your laptop that I said is not working? You can still do it without the extension. It's just that the extension will make it easier for you. All right. So here, search for live server. Live, L-I-V-E, then server. So click on this first one, install. Then I trust the publisher. So it will install this live server for you. So that way, as you are changing your code, the browser will be automatically, changed. So that's it. Then the second one, you might need HTML snippets. Okay, maybe this one. HTML CSS support. Let me see if this will serve us. This one is optional. I might not even install it. What I actually need is that first one that I've installed. I'm surprised that did they discontinue this one because I see it look cancelled. You mean this one? Is to suggest the code for us. By the time we learn the basic, instead of us now type everything HTML, I'll just say H enter. You just give me. That's the work. But we can do without it. But there's one I want us to install, and that should be auto rename. Yeah, auto rename tag. Let's go with this one. So what's the work of this one? If I say div, and later I don't want to call them div, I want to call them edge. If I change that first edge, it will automatically change the second one for me. If I write div here and I write div here, later I don't want it to be div. I want it to be called head. As I change this first one to edge, the second one will automatically change to edge, which like save me time. So it's just for saving time. With or without it, you should be fine. So I will install that. Okay, I think I will go for this first one. Sorry. Let's go for this first one, auto rename tag. This one I've been using before, so I'll go with this. I'm installing them in class just for you to be able to see. So with that, then we can close. Now you click on this first one to go back to where you were before. So this is where I was before. How do you see it? If you come to this extension, if you click here and you take away what you are typing, if you take it away, so these are the ones you have installed. And if I drag it down, all of them will be listed here. So live server, auto rename tag. As you move on, there are other ones, but we can just do with this for now. There's one for team. There's one theme I downloaded the last time. Let me see if I can see it. If not, we can just move on. I love that theme. It's very cool. One monarchy theme. Is it this one? I think so. All of these are optional. You don't have to if you don't want to. But if you want to, you can go ahead. So I'll go with this one. Then if you want your icon to look different, then you can go with this material icon. I don't like installing all of this at the beginning so that it doesn't distract us, but if you want to, no problem. Material icon theme, then you select it up here when it come up. So that's all. If you can install it, fine. If you cannot install it, it does not stop what you are doing in any way. Just for beautification. So when you are done, you go back to this first one. So we start writing our code now. So step one, there are 4 icons here, right? There are 4 icons here. Can you see them? This first icon means you want to create a new file. The second one means you want to create a new folder. The third one means you want to refresh to see the changes. Why the last one means you want to collapse everything. But at the point, our folder will be many. So you want to collapse them. That's the last one. So I will use this first one to create new file. Then the second one to create folder. So the first one, new file. Then I'll call it index.html. If you don't want to use that shortcut, you can right click on this empty space and say new file. That will still work. So either you use the shortcut icon or you right click and say new file, index.html. Both will work. Yes, enter. Is it clear? Now that icon I installed is what is making me want to show this icon. If yours is not showing this icon, it doesn't matter. You can always do that later. It does not affect you in any way. It's just for beauty purpose. Is that okay? Any challenge? Just insert new icon. It's correct now. Just close it. File. New file, not new folder.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one. Or you right click and say new file. Index.html. Why do we call it index? By the time you put all your code on the server to go live for people to access it anywhere in the world, that server will look for the one that is called index. That's the one that is going to show to the world first. Does it make sense? You know, normal website have home, about us, contact us, services. It does not look for home and show home first. It look for index and show index first. So instead of you calling it home, you should call it index. Is it clear? You have book, normal physical book. You have the cover of your book, right? The index is like the cover of the website. The first thing that people will see first. Then they can now be navigating to other page afterwards. Does it make sense? So what you want them to see first when it comes to your software is what will be inside the index.html. Is that okay? And because what we are creating is HTML, that's why it's called .html. If it is Python now, it will be .py. If it's PHP.php. If it's JavaScript.js. Hope that makes sense. You know why it's called index? I know why it is .html. All right. All right. So if that's clear, let's move on. Now, index.html means whatever I write here will be appearing automatically in my browser. Now, anytime you write your code, even though the code is here, the browser will not see it until you save it. So that means every time you make changes, you have to save. Instead of you doing it every time, I can just come to File and say auto save. So I don't need to remember to save because as I'm typing, it's saving it automatically for me. All these are just for efficiency. So I'll just say so. Is it clear? Okay, good. Now, if I don't want to be seeing this part, I can click on this first one. It will hide it for me. If I want it, I'll click on the first one. It will bring it back. So for the sake of space, I normally hide it. But if you want, you can leave your own. Is that okay? So, how do we write HTML? The first step is to say a less than sign. Less than sign. Less than sign. Then HTML. It can be uppercase or lowercase, but I'll make my own uppercase like this, lowercase like this. Is it clear? Then you close it with greater than sign. It will now give you two HTML, the opening tag, the closing tag. Are we following? Less than sign, HTML, greater than sign, you close it. So this one now is what we call the opening. Then the other one is called the closing. Then whatever you want to show to people in your browser will now be in between the two of them. It's like saying whatever is in between, HTML, format it for me the way it should appear. Does it make sense? It's like you want to eat a burger. There will be one at the bottom, then your content in between, then there'll be one at the top. So the first HTML is the one at the bottom, then the other one is the one, or the first one is the one at the top, the other one is the one at the bottom. Then your content will not be in between them. Does it make sense? All right. Now I can bring the one there down like this. In between them, I'll press enter so that they'll be on top of each other. HTML does not recognize space. Whether they are beside each other or they are like this. To HTML, they are still beside each other. But for our own purpose, it's better to put it like this. Is that okay? But for HTML, it's not saying that you have put it down. You're still seeing them beside each other. You understand what I'm saying as we move on? So before you write anything, always start with this HTML and closing it with HTML. Is that clear? Now, ordinarily, I don't have to say less than. I can just say HTML and press enter. It will give me the opening and the closing. But I did it that way so that you know how they come about it. That it is the greater than sign, you know. It's the less than sign, HTML, greater than sign, then you do it again. But the second one must have this slash. That's what shows that this one is closing, while this one is opening. Is that clear? So for readability, I will bring it down like this. And I move on. So when you are writing HTML, it's like human body. You have the head and you have the body, right? So inside, I'll just say head. I will not be doing the greater than sign again, since it will be doing that for me. But assuming you are not using VS Code, you are using Notepad, you have to be doing it yourself. But since you are using this and it has IntelliSense, I'll just type head and press enter. You give me the opening tag and the closing tag. And if you observe, the head, I indent it first before I type the head. This is the right way to do it. Don't do it like this. This will work, but it shows you are not a professional programmer. Even though you are a beginner, start learning the right way to do things from the beginning. So that anybody that see your code, they will not say, ah, this one I don't do. So it makes your code easy to read. Anybody knows that that edge is inside like this. Do you understand? That space shows that the edge is inside the HTML. But if everything is on a straight line, by the time you have 500 code, it will be difficult to know which one is which. But when they are inside each other, you know which one are inside, which one are outside. No, ordinarily, if you come here and you press enter, by itself it will move inside. But if it does not, then you have to press tab to move it. Is it clear? Then you now do head like this. Yours is not like that. Life is not hard.
No, we're not doing that.
It will not work now because the principle is that you must press enter for it to work. You may still be typing, so it doesn't know you are done. You want to say headmaster, so you still see that maybe you are still typing. But when you say enter, say, oh, you are done typing, okay, this is what you should have. Is that okay? So my own philosophy is that life is not hard. And you can see it from our internet connection. Why am I saying life is not hard? See, anything in this life is not hard. You can create your own aeroplane. If you know what the person that created aeroplane, if you know what the person knows, you can create your own. Do you understand? So it is hard to create aeroplane because you don't know what that person that created aeroplane, you don't know what the person knows. Hope you get my point. So just know that anytime you're having difficulty at anything, it's because you have not understand the principle that govern that thing. When you understand the principle, you know that it is not hard. So as we are moving, be trying to understand the principle that, okay, what are the principles that govern HTML? When you know those principles, even when you're having error, you will know what is causing the error. Hope you get the point now. So whenever you have issue and I come and fix it for you, I'm not wizard. It's because I know the principle and I know what is the cause. So it is that principle I'm trying to communicate to you so that you don't even need to cram anything. If they wake you up, come and design this page. Yeah. Because you know the principle, you can do it on your own. You don't have to be looking somewhere or be, so there's no internet. I need AI to tell me what to do. You need to depend on AI because you understand it, right? So HTML, they're in between the HTML with your tab, head. Is it clear? All right. Now, in between the head, you see that I'm now inside again, another tab, right? Showing that what I want to type is inside the head. And that will be title. Then you can now put your title. So I can say tech 365 or whatever you want. So you are telling HTML that 365, format it as a title. Is that okay? So and in HTML, there's a place where the title will appear. I will show you everything. Just let's take it one by one.
Sorry, the 365, I can put anything.
You can put anything. You can put your name, you can put welcome. You can put space, you can put however you want it. It's like normal Microsoft Word. You can type it how you want. Can I move on? Now, under the head, so I'll come here and press enter. You can see that I'm on the same line with the head now, right? So it means that head is the child of HTML, right? Why that title is the child of the head. But I'm going to type body now. What is the relationship between body and head? What's the relationship? If title is the child of head, what's the relationship between head and body? They are siblings. They are siblings because they are the same level, the same arc. They are peers. They are siblings. Hope that makes sense. So anything that is sibling, they must start on the same line. Is that okay? So inside this one, I can say, welcome to Tech 365. And I'll come on that and say life is not hard. So this is your first HTML. So welcome to 365, life is not hard, is what they will see in the browser. Whatever you want them to see in the browser, that's what we are going to type inside the head, inside the body like this. Is that okay? So let's see it. How do we see it in our browser? You click on Go Live. This is the live server that we installed the other time that I said you'll be automatically refreshing it for us, right? So just click on Go Live at the bottom right here. So I'll say allow. And this is my own. So you can see, welcome to Tech 365. Life is not hard. Is this clear to everybody? It's not clear. Now, that's 365 that I put inside the head and inside the title. That's what you are seeing up here. So when you go to people's website like Facebook, Google, you normally see that their name at the top here. You now know how they do it. How long does it take you to know? 1 minute. So you can do what Google is doing even in 1 minute. So if I go to google.com now, so do you see? So do you see how they put it? That's the only means. Yeah, tell me the other one. If you're in HTML, that's the only way you can put it.
Yes, I'm saying that other
language. Of course, we're focusing on HTML, not So now see how they put the Google. You know how to do that now, right? For this icon, let's hold on with that. You learn to do that as we move on. Any question? Is it clear so far? So whatever you put within the body will appear here in this page here. You say what? It's not coming up. Okay, let me see. It's possible. Because it's index.html, not index.html. Not from there. I think it's index.html. So when you don't get the right result, because I don't do the right thing. When you do the right thing, you get the right result. Now, me, get what I'm saying, man? You can click on that. Stop. Click on stop. So that, yeah, I'm stopping. When you do the right thing, you keep having error. The way you can block the extension. Let's business. I want to plug. How we can get to that? Now, instead of me minimizing this one and go to my code, minimize that one, do you understand? To be seeing both of them, instead of me minimizing, I can just put them side by side. How? If I put my cursor here, you can see that I have these two boxes, right? If you put your cursor in this maximize, put your cursor over it, this one will come up. Are you seeing it? So I'll just click the one on the right. This will move to the right. Then the one on the left, this one will move to the left. So that's one way. Another way to do it, if that did not work for you, another way to do it is press the window icon on your laptop and left arrow. There's up, left, right, down. Window icon and left, we move it to the left like this. Then the one on the right, you click the remaining one, that will move to the right. Window icon and right button or left button. Then I can manually move it as well, like this. Then drag it to the right, like this. So this way, as I'm typing, I'm seeing the results in real time. Is that okay? You need help. Okay, let me come and help you. What's wrong with my charger?